Good morning, students. Today we will move on to the next topic, that is reaction of a non-metallic oxide with a base. Now what is this non-metallic oxide? Non-metallic oxide are gases at room temperature. Okay, and when they are dissolved in water, they are acidic in nature. Example, carbon dioxide, then sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide. These are all examples of non-metallic oxide. Now when a base reacts with non-metallic oxide, it forms salt and water. And look at this reaction carefully. When is salt and water formed? When an acid and a base reacts, that time salt and water is formed. But here we see the base, when it reacts with non-metallic oxide, forms salt and water. So what can we conclude from this? It means this non-metallic oxide is acidic in nature. Since it is acidic in nature, it is able to form salt and water. If it was not, then it wouldn't have formed this product. This reaction is similar to that of acid and base. So we can conclude that non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Some common characteristics of acids. All acids contain hydrogen. For example, you have your HCl, H2SO4, HNO3. So these all have hydrogen. They react with reactive metals to liberate hydrogen gas. So they react with the metal to give rise to hydrogen gas. But all compounds containing hydrogen cannot be called acids. For example, CH4, C2H6, H3H8, C6H12O6, etc. contains hydrogen but are not called acids. Now, though they contain hydrogen, we cannot call them as acids. Now what happens? Why is it so? Because when you dissolve this acid, when you add acid to the water, it breaks up into its ions or charged particles. For example, HCl, it forms H plus and Cl minus. What are these? These are ions or charged particles. Whereas when you dissolve the CH4 or C2H6, it does not dissociate into its ions, or they do not form charged particles. Okay, that's why we cannot categorize them as acid. This is activity 2.8 from your textbook. In this particular activity, we need a beaker, a rubber cork. Onto this rubber cork, there are two iron nails that are attached, and by means of wire, we are connecting it to a 6 volts battery. There is a bulb and there is a switch. And within the beaker, we have got the presence of dilute HCl. We already know what is this dilute HCl. Dilute HCl means there is more amount of water present in this particular solution. Now, when we switch it on, okay, what happens is, here the HCl breaks up into its respective ions, that is H plus and Cl minus. Now they are charged particles, so they can start conducting electricity. How do we know that it is conducting electricity? We can see that the bulb will glow. If it wouldn't have conducted electricity, then the bulb will not glow. This tells us that acids conduct electricity. Same with the base. For example, KOOH. It splits up into K plus OH minus. Even in this case also, the bulb will glow because K plus and OH minus, these are charged particles and they are responsible for the conduction of electricity. So in this case, the bulb will glow. Instead of this, if you take glucose, ethanol, the bulb will not glow. Why the bulb will not glow? Because ions are not being formed. Ions are the one that helps in the conduction of electricity. So over here we see the ions are not being formed. The bulb will start glowing in case of acids. Glowing of bulb indicates that there is flow of electric current. same activity can be conducted with a base. So the result of the experiment, if you conduct it with the base, will also be the same, because base also, we know, it splits up into its respective ions. Now what happens to an acid or a base in a water solution? In your textbook they have given only with respect to acid, so we will try to understand it. Now when you add HCl to water, it splits up into respective ions, that is H plus and Cl minus. Now this H plus is very unstable. Okay, it means it needs to react. So what does it do? It reacts with the water molecule and it forms what is known as hydronium ion. This is known as my hydronium ion. Now when a base is dissolved in water, what happens is it splits up into its respective ion. Okay, and I told you when it splits up into its respective ion, it can conduct electricity. Now bases generate hydroxide ions in water, that is OH minus. Bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. Now what is the nature of these alkalis? They are soapy to touch, bitter and corrosive. Corrosive means they cause damage or they burn the skin. The process of dissolving an acid or a base in water is a highly exothermic one. It means lot of heat will be liberated during this process. The acid must always be added slowly to water with constant stirring. So the acid should always be added slowly, drop by drop, and you have to constantly stir it. Why you need to stir it? Because there should be uniform distribution. If water is added to a concentrated acid, the heat generated may cause the mixture to splash out and cause burns. I had already told you initially, if you add water to an acid, we see lot of heat will be generated and the mixture will spurt, okay, and cause burns. Mixing an acid or a base with water results in decrease in the concentration of ion. So you are adding water constantly to an acid or a base. So what happens? The ions will decrease. Now H plus, for example HCl is what we considered. Now if acid is there, it splits up into H plus and Cl minus, and H plus will combine with water to form hydronium ion. But when you're constantly adding water, the concentration of HCl is decreasing. So how will it generate this H plus and Cl minus? It will not generate. So we see there is a decrease in the concentration of this hydronium ion or OH minus ion. So such a process is called dilution. You are diluting the solution. Hopefully it is clear to you. Hydronium ion is a very important concept. You need to know how hydronium ion is being formed. Thank you.